What is going on, everybody? We are back with another review. This is CCW, and I'm Nick.
And I'm Joe.
And I'm going to yell at a cat. Gil, shut up.
It starts early tonight.
And yeah, we're reviewing, honestly, probably, in my opinion, the best Dynamite in, like, weeks.
There was nothing egregious on the show, but there was nothing really that happened either. They're missing something. And I know people are going to be like, yeah, their fucking main event scene and their roster.
They're missing their two best people.
And I would agree, but it just feels a little soulless. They're three best people because MJF's not back yet either.
Yeah.
It just feels hollow to me, and I can't put a finger on it, but nothing was egregiously bad.
There's some things that are egregious, and I'm going to get there. Obviously, we're going to get there. But for the most part, I can actually delete this because I had pre-wrote Shivani's name in on commentary, and I was thankful he was not. They just went with a two-man
team. They're saving him for Collision.
Oh,
Yay.
Do that to me. So yeah, Excalibur, Bryan Danielson, we're on commentary. We are in San Antonio. So we get a little after their match at WrestleDream where Paige is like mad, and he said he's going to ruin Joe's goddamn life.
He just shouted at the camera for like 2 minutes.
So I hope we're going to get some time with some Psycho Adam for a little bit. That's what I need. That's what the show needs is Psycho Adam Page. And then we start with our first match, which is the Ops versus the Hurt Syndicate for the AEW Trios Championship. Ladies and gentlemen, Shelton Benjamin, because we always got to talk about him. And this one's not even this one's not even important, but I just want to point it out. He is the first person I have ever seen not get caught up in the nope spot. He landed on his feet and then looked over at Joe like he was stupid. I loved it.
Yeah, it didn't make him look like a goof.
They teased Bobby and Hobbs early on in the match. But when we did finally get Bobby and Hobbs in the ring together, I realized I really want this match.
Yeah, big old meat slapping.
I think them just beating the hell out of each other, them being probably the two biggest guys that aren't hurt in AEW. I think it'd be a good match. Biggest guys, muscle mass wise guys, muscle mass. I don't mean fattest. Here's where I get annoyed. So Ricochet comes out, distracts MVP long enough for MVP to get put in the Coquina clutch.
He was going to give Joe your favorite move in the world.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad we didn't get that move. Don't get me wrong.
But he just stood there like a goof while Ricochet was just standing on the apron.
You notice he's yet to actually do that move in AEW. Every time he goes to do it, something happens.
He done it and won with it some weeks ago. Because remember, you hated it.
I thought he set up for it and something happened and they didn't do it.
Well, he does do that a lot. But I think he hit it and won with it. I want to say it was against Goa.
But no, so post-match...
One of the Goas.
Shivani... Or not post-match, sorry, I wasn't done. Ricochet distracts him long enough for MVP
Joe to recover and snatch him up.
Yeah, puts him in the Coquina clutch, and he taps out. And then my next words are, I'm over the Demand versus the Hurt Syndicate.
Yeah, it was good for the first 3 times.
This was
At what point is the blow off?
This was the egregious moment for me. Because they're beating this trio versus trio thing to these two teams specifically, guys. I don't mind the trios division. But these two teams to death, and I'm tired of it.
No, but it seems like AEW is doing that a lot.
Oh, yeah. I don't know why every single rivalry or whatever has to have 7 matches before something happens and it's done. I mean, this isn't the only time we get hinted at another rematch between two people that have fought each other a lot. It happens again later.
Yep.
Like, I'm tired of it. We don't need people to wrestle each other back to back to back to back so many times. It's okay to let them take 4 to 5 months in between. Like, let them do something else.
You got 100 fucking plus people on that roster. Book something else.
Exactly. Like, what the hell is Hook and what's his face doing?
They're on Collision. They work Saturdays.
Yeah.
I'm sure we'll get a terrible promo segment with the both of them.
Maybe. Post-match, Shivani wants to know why the Ops did what they did to Paige, and then Joe put out the worst promo I've ever heard this man do in my life.
Yeah, he was exhausted too. He was huffing and a puffing.
The things he said didn't even come off as intimidating, dude. I was just like, what are we doing?
No, it was kind of generic
He's
heel
like,
bullshit.
I did it because I exist, and as long as you have a title, I'm coming for you. And then he did like the cheap heel heat shit where he's making fun of the city and making fun of their teams being
the
trash.
City's local sports teams and all that crap. It felt very generic.
It's very not Joe. I don't remember Joe being a heel and resorting to that. I've always felt like his promos are
he
more
was always
direct.
a badass heel who just fuck you up.
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, I hated it.
Yeah, not a fan either.
Backstage segment. Stat says she's so much more than a woman than the woman Monet beat last year at Full Gear, and she accepts this year's Full Gear challenge. And then we get an in-ring segment. Darby Allin comes to the ring, AEW flag in hand, and says he can be the face of the company because he's willing to die for this place. And then he says that as long as the Death Riders are breathing, Darby isn't far behind, and he leaves the ring. Not a bad segment from Darby. I just
you should never die for an employer.
yeah, I wouldn't.
Not me neither. Yeah, it was fine for Darby.
He's not. I'm pretty sure we're heading towards a conglomeration and Darby versus Death Riders in a blood and guts match or whatever the stupid thing is.
Oh, I so don't want to see that. Although there was parts of the conglomeration that I liked tonight.
Oh, dude, I loved almost all of it.
Which is
it was a
great
time
that I do. Huh?
I love almost everything that happened involving them tonight. It was a great time.
The thing I liked was their entrance. They have like a sitcom.
So I saw that on Twitter a couple days ago. They showed it.
Did you?
Yeah.
It's funny. I like it a lot.
And Roddy is so put out.
Roddy's put out just being around them, and it's great.
So we get a video package of Jurassic Express. Hey, look. Jack Perry probably said one of the best things he said, and he didn't come off as like trying to be scary or intimidating. He was like, "But we're on a path of reclamation, and we want the tag titles." And I was like, "Hey, let's go."
Yeah, remember we were talking about who was going to be the next one to challenge for the tag titles? Apparently, we have an answer.
Maybe, we'll see. That was not confirmed.
Yeah, they're setting it up. Who are the tag champions? I asked this last time.
Brodito, my guy, Brodito.
Oh, why do I keep forgetting this?
They've actually been
because they keep wrestling matches that aren't tag team matches. That's why.
We get our second match, which is Megan Bain. Okay, so this confused me when they first talked about it, but it was 4 tag teams,
a 4 corners tag match,
and whoever wins got to pick their opponent
for the first round of the
tournament, which was weird to me. But
yeah, I did not expect the winners to win either.
I want to give this entire show a failing grade because of who won. Shut up, Gil.
Poor cat.
But no, so we get poor me. We get Megan Bain and Penelope Ford versus Sky Blue and Julia Hart versus Harley Cameron and Willow Nightingale versus Queen Aminata and Jamie Hayter. And my first thought is, why the fuck are Queen Aminata and Jamie Hayter tagging with each other? Like, you can make a case for every other people. Because, look, Megan Bain and Penelope Ford, they've been together for like the last 7 months. Sky Blue and Julia Hart have been together for like the last year and a half. Harley Cameron and Willow Nightingale, we knew that was happening. It's been forming for a couple of weeks. And then, like, Queen Aminata and Jamie Hayter, have been doing like single stuff unless they've been thrown in one of the 15,000 4-person, 8-person tag matches.
Yep, they were in the Collision Triangle of Madness Vortex.
Anyways,
and that's why they're a team. They want the Triangle of Madness, so they are in the tournament.
So Megan Bain almost dropped Hayter on top of her head during a dual suplex, which I thought was dangerous.
It was apt. This was the worst match on the card.
And then Sky Blue caught Penelope Ford, who was jumping off the top of to the outside with her face. That looked painful. She caught a foot, dude, the whole boot right in the head, and I was like, "Oh man, that sucks." Poor Sky Blue. Anyways, listen. The one pro about them winning is they have a better tag team move than Goa. Okay.
Yes, they do. I'm glad you mentioned it. It was pretty dope.
They both grab one arm and like they're both setting up for a haterade. Queen Aminata does her headbutt. Unfortunately, we still got to look at the ugliest fucking clothesline in the game.
This one wasn't bad. She took her head off.
Yeah, took my head off. And yeah, they win. I fucking hate it here. And then post-match, they choose to wrestle the Sisters of Sin, which realistically they should beat, and that's fine. I don't care about that, because that's not who I even want to win now. But you know what's going to happen?
I don't think they're going to win. I think Tekla's going to hose them, and the Triangle will move on.
Well, I also don't think the team that I want to win is going to win either. We'll get through there later.
No, I think
they're going to be setting up for a TBS championship match is what they're going to be doing.
Yeah.
Actually, it'll probably be title versus title, but we'll get there.
Oh, God, I hope not.
So, backstage, the Bucks are trying to get Tony to answer his... Yo, this whole segment was amazing. So, the Bucks are trying to get Tony to answer his door. He finally does. And he's like, "Oh, I hear you want $400K, or you guys want a money match." He's like, "I got one for you. It's going to be a 4-on-4 match on Collision." He's like, "It's going to be Jurassic Express and Jet Speed versus you two." And then they're like, "Just us? It's going to be 4-on-2?" He's like, "No." He's like, "It's going to be for $400K."
And these gentlemen.
And he's like, "And these guys." And FTR walks out of the office, and then he walks off. And dude, listen, I didn't like this segment because it was a good segment. I liked it because Tony knows he's awkward on camera and doesn't ever want to do this, but forced himself to do it and looked extra awkward, and it made me laugh.
Yeah, he should never be on TV.
He kept like looking at the camera and was trying so hard to not look at the camera, but he couldn't fucking help it because the camera's right there.
He just wanted to look in the camera and smile. It's like a child.
And it's like, don't get me wrong, it's not a bad segment either. It was just awkward for him. And I loved it.
I like Tony. I think Tony is a very giving person, especially considering the size of his roster and what he's paying some of those people.
And what he does when he goes out of his way to help people that get hurt and stuff.
Sure. But he should never be on camera. Ever.
Never.
Ever, ever, ever.
Nope.
Ever.
He always screams for no reason.
Well, it's awkward enough when he's like in the arenas and he'll like do like a post show like shout out or whatever. That's awkward enough.
Right.
But like, yeah, stay off camera. Bro.
He's always like, "Your city is the greatest city and the greatest wrestling city in the U.S." And I'm like, "This is Indianapolis." No, it's not.
Yeah, he always talks about being from Chicago, and he just goes off into long tangents because how nervous he is. And
Then we get an in-ring segment, which is actually really amazing. So Monet is supposed to be coming to the ring to celebrate. Renee is running through all of her accomplishments, and the music hits, and then all of the belt boys come out with all the belts, and then all of a sudden the Monet pops up from behind the table.
The Monet puppet.
The puppet pops up, and at first I didn't think it was Harley. Only because I was like, Harley doesn't actually have like beef with her right now. It would be silly for it to be Harley, but then it also made sense that it would. Anyways, Monet's music hits again, after the puppet says some funny things, Monet comes out and she is not happy. She tells the Belt Boys to bounce, and then she gets in the ring and she's like, Renee, come here. Renee comes close. She says, get out. So Renee leaves, and then she starts talking about being mocked, and then the puppet mocks her, which was fucking hilarious.
Like, you think this is funny? A few weeks ago, you were begging me to be my tag team partner.
At which point, Monet's like, here's what's really funny, and then, like, shoves the puppet into the cake. At which point, she grabs Harley by the arm and lifts her up from behind the table. I was like, oh, it is Harley. And out of nowhere, I'm guessing also underneath the table.
Yep, they were both under the table.
Statlander pops up and power bombs her through the table after slamming her face.
It was a spine buster.
Or spine busters her. Yeah, it's a fun time.
Mercedes was big mad.
Big mad. Post match last Saturday segment. Actually, it's one of Mox's better segments as well. He thinks Darby's strength will be his downfall, but it is what got him through that night. He says that tomorrow we get back to work, which would have actually been like 2 days ago. On Monday. You don't get back to work on Monday. That's WWE, buddy. He says that their only competition is themselves. No one in wrestling can do what they do. It's your typical Mox.
I wish nobody in wrestling was doing what they were doing.
Including them.
Yeah, I'm so sick of the Death Riders. It's not even funny.
The good news is I actually am starting to think it's not going to last too much longer, at least in its current form. And we'll talk about that here in a moment. We get Jon Moxley versus Kyle O'Reilly. This is where we get our new conglomeration intro. That's like Friends, but on crack. It's amazing. I love it. It's the funniest thing they've done so far for them.
I agree.
And the match is actually a pretty good match, all things considered.
Yeah, it's my match of the night.
I really enjoyed it. And one of the things they were playing on is Mox coming close to tapping out several times.
Yep.
And I think before long, Mox is going to get jumped out of the group, at the very least.
His will looks weak right now.
Correct. I think his team is going to see it. And I think they're going to end up taking him out. Now, I don't think it's going to happen anytime within the next couple weeks type stuff. But I definitely can see it happening over the next month and a half or so. Now, I'm not saying I obviously, it's not like I'm like, oh, this has got to happen. This is what I absolutely think is going to happen. It's just, you watch enough wrestling things. I feel like he is going to tap out to somebody that he shouldn't at some point. And that's what's going to tip him over. But yeah, he came close to tapping out several times. Eventually punched the ref to get himself disqualified. And
I liked the finish because it was, number one, it was so un-John Moxley-like.
Yep.
And it was abrupt. And it emphasized that weakness that he's showing right now.
Yep, and
it was almost what we would call character development.
And they did one of those things that I love. So he does that. It starts a bit of a brawl where the Death Riders and the conglomeration all come out, and then it just goes right into their match.
If they have a tussle, they do a commercial break, and then they come back and they start the 6-man.
Which is the Death Riders, which are Yuta, Garcia, and Cesaro, versus the conglomeration.
You called him Cesaro. Claudio.
I did.
Castagnola.
I wrote it down as Cesaro, too.
Well, shorthand. I do that for shorthand purposes.
This is why I don't usually do that for shorthand, because I read it.
You're like Ron Burgundy.
And then we got the conglomeration, which is Orange Cassidy, Mark Briscoe, and Roderick Strong. Basically, though, faces get the win by Mark Briscoe getting the Jade Driller on Yuta. It was kind of not a bad match, but not as good as I'd hoped. I loved almost every moment that Roderick was in, because he's just amazing.
Yeah, Roddy's great. He dropping them on the guardrail and shit.
Post match though, Pac goes to attack him and Ishii comes out to help. Mox distracts him, but Marina hits him in the nuts. O'Reilly comes out and the Death Riders just overcome them. But eventually Darby Allin comes out and prevents Orange Cassidy from being thrown out onto the announce tables.
Like he did. Yep. He was about to get gorilla press slammed by Claudio over to the announce table.
By the way, it was at this moment that I was like, oh, we're going to get a blood and guts match.
No, I would have never have guessed it.
Backstage, we get the formation of what's my new favorite women's tag team. Mercedes is screaming and big mad. Athena shows up and she's like, hey, you're celebrating being the longest reigning TBS champion. I'm the forever Ring of Honor champion. We should make, she was like, we should make history again and become the women's inaugural tag team champions.
Yep.
And
she was like, we're both here to make history, so we should just make history together.
And Monet's like, all right, cool. And then I think Athena said, we should go train. And I'm pretty sure Monet said, hell no.
Yeah, hell no.
And so here's the thing. Well, actually, we'll get there in a moment because we have to talk about it. Well, we will talk about that. In-ring segment. Kyle Fletcher comes out. He says they're never doing a Kyle and Mark match again. Mark comes out and says he's got a retort. Mark's like...
Yeah, he kind of ran down Briscoe a little bit, so Briscoe comes out.
Mark's like, I was going to leave, but then you came out here running your mouth. He's like, I don't need a million shots. I just need one more shot. And he's like, no excuses. Don Callis then felt the need to talk just because he hates me.
I've got something to say to you.
And then he says that he needs that Mark needs himself a family like the Don Callis family instead of the 10 kids that he's got to feed.
Yeah, a bunch of leeches is what he called them.
But Don basically is like, nah, you're not getting a title shot. And then they leave. And I was like, one, this didn't need to happen. None of it.
No, it did not.
No reason for this segment to be on TV at all. I don't want another Kyle and Mark, sorry.
No, that was like your least favorite match of the pay-per-view.
I don't want another Kyle and Mark match. We've had it 6 times now. 5 times, 6 times. I think 6 times. 5 times.
No, if you're just throwing around rematches, let's do a Hangman and Kyle rematch. That match was actually good.
That was a banger. Yeah. I don't need this shit again. And this is where I was excited. They revealed the bracket for the women's tournament, which I had to go find on Twitter. And we got 8 teams, which... I agree with some people. They should have made it a bigger bracket.
Well.
But, whatever. Our round 1 is going to be Queen Aminata and Hayter versus the Sisters of Sin. Willow and Harley versus Monet and Athena. It's crazy how...
Ooh, right out of the gate.
Yeah, it is. Windsor and Riho. Windsor! And
back on TV.
And Riho versus Timeless Tony Storm and Mina Shirakawa. And then we've got Megan Bain and Penelope Ford versus Ty-J. So, here's what I think should happen if they want the best matches all 4 rounds. You have Aminata and Hayter win. You have Monet and Athena win, and then they will face each other in the next round.
Uh-huh.
You would have Tony and Mina win, and then they would go on to face Bain and Ford in the next round, who should beat Ty-J.
Yeah.
And then you make it, just because the intrigue would be amazing, Monet and Athena versus Tony and Mina.
I agree.
I think that is...
Tony and Mina winning because of... Athena and Monet not getting along.
Now, with that being said, here's what I think is actually going to happen.
Athena's going to screw Monet to get a TBS title shot?
I think Tekla's going to screw over Aminata and Hayter, so we're going to get the Sisters of Sin. I think we're going to get Athena screwing over Monet, which is going to make it Sisters of Sin versus Willow and Harley in the next round. I do think Tony and Mina are going to win. And I also think Bain and Ford are going to win. If Ty-J wins, I swear to God.
I don't think you have to worry about Ty-J winning.
I think afterwards we're gonna get, which puts Sisters of Sin versus Willow and Harley. I think Willow and Harley win that, and I think it's gonna be Willow and Harley versus Tony and Mina, in the end. And I do think Tony and Mina are going to win. I just don't think that's the best match. Willow's great, don't get me wrong, and Harley's definitely gotten better. She does enough that she can carry her, handle her own, but. I don't know. I don't know. I'm both excited and not excited because there's too many things that you can tell are going to happen that I don't want to happen.
I don't think Monet and them are going to go out as quickly as you think.
You think they're actually going to beat Willow and Harley?
Yep.
I hope
they're
so.
going to make it to the finals, and I think they're going to eventually lose. And then I think Athena's going to be big mad, and I think Athena's going to cost Monet the title from Stat, and then that's going to set up Athena and Monet.
Her and TB, her and Monet. That's not a bad play. Listen, regardless of what you decide to fucking do, Tony, I will never be mad at getting more Athena on my TV screen.
No, just call her up. Have her relinquish the title. You don't even have to have her lose. She needs to be on TV every week. She is a star.
Yeah.
That is just wasting away in ROH.
Exactly. So yeah, there's all that. We get a backstage segment. Mina says she hasn't heard from Tony since the pay-per-view.
Last week, yeah.
Tekla comes up. He cuts honestly a really good promo on her.
Yeah, Tekla was good.
That's
why Tekla needs to be by herself.
Or at least just talk more. She spent so long not talking. Let her talk. She's good at it. But yeah, they're going to fight at Collision. And I am excited for that match. Because I heard their match in Stardom was actually really fucking good. I haven't seen it. But I have heard. And yeah, I'm excited for that.
Agreed.
That's right, folks. I'm excited for a match on Collision. Eat my ass. Doesn't happen often.
No. I mean, there's a couple matches to get excited for. The Bucks and FTR teaming up. That'll be a good match.
If they can get along.
Well, even if they don't get along, the chaos of it all will be good. It will be a very well-wrestled match.
Yeah, well, they don't have a bad team in that list.
No, they don't. As much as I do not like Jet Speed, their work is not their problem.
Someone not having shoes.
Footwear and personality is their problem.
Oh, I think their personality is great.
Well, Kevin Knight has a personality. I don't know what Speedball Mike Bailey is like the forever 10-year-old who still thinks he's playing Power Rangers.
Listen, that's all you need. That's all you need. I still think I'm a Power Ranger. What are you talking about? We're the forever 10-year-olds that still play video games. Listen.
Hey, no. Video games are mainstream now. This ain't the 80s and 90s where you were a nerd. Okay.
No, we're still nerds. It's just cool to be a nerd. I don't know if you've heard.
No, nerd culture is mainstream now.
So
take that, people who said it would never happen. We
get what I thought was a actually way better match than I thought it was going to be. I mean that loosely, guys. I don't think it was a fantastic match, but I do think it was a decent match.
No, you got lazy Okada in this match though.
Kazuchika Okada versus Bandito. A cool moment. Bandito hits Eddie Guerrero's frog splash where he does the shimmy and the crowd starts chanting for Eddie. I thought it was pretty neat.
Yep.
Bandito hit a 21 pecs. Whatever. Gonna roll with it. He didn't get the pin though, because he wasn't quick enough to get the 3 count, which I actually don't mind that.
Okada was working his shoulder. He was selling his shoulder, so he hit the thing, and the exertion of using his arm caused him to roll to the cover slowly.
Then we got a really cool ending. So Okada goes.
Yeah, the ending was good.
Okada goes for the Rainmaker. Bandito ducks and hits a Rainmaker of his own. sets up for another 21 plex, except Okada didn't go up to the ropes. So when
Well, he
Bandito
was at the ropes, and as Bandito went to run off the ropes, he backed up a few steps.
Bandito goes to do the flip over, but since he's not up against the ropes, he just fully goes over, and then Okada grabs him and hits him with the Rainmaker and gets the pin. I was like,
Yep.
Really fun ending.
Yep.
I liked it.
Yeah.
Post-match, Don Callis' family comes out to celebrate, except for Takeshita. However, Takeshita's music hits. He's annoyed with Okada because of what happened at the pay-per-view, and they stare at each other down from the ramp to the ring.
And then Fletcher and Don Callis jump out to try to allow cooler heads to prevail.
Okada's laughing, and Takeshita wants to kill him. I say let him.
I wish there would have been just a "let them fight" chant.
I do think at Full Gear we're going to get Takeshita versus Okada. I do think it's going to be title versus title. And I think Takeshita's going to win.
I agree. I think Takeshita has to win.
And here's the thing. I'm not even to the point where I think Takeshita's necessarily going to leave the Don Callis family at this point. I think he beats Okada and Okada disappears for a while.
Yeah, I could see that. The only way Okada wins is if Don Callis and them betrayed Takeshita, and it marks Takeshita's.
Not allowed to happen.
That's what they do. They don't make it title versus title. They just make it for Okada's title. Don Callis helps him cheat, freeing up Talk to be a babyface, and then their next match is title versus title.
He can't help him cheat. It's literally impossible.
He can't help Okada cheat?
Nope.
Why?
Because it's actually technically within the quote unquote AEW rules, and Tony Khan said it, that the anytime the Unified Championship is defended, no one's allowed to be ringside, and if anybody interferes, they're immediately going to be fired.
I thought that was just for that one match.
No, that's for the title. That's why Callis wasn't out there for the match.
Oh, I missed that. What an oversight.
So
there must be a winner.
He was out there because he was on commentary, but he wasn't actually. He didn't leave the desk until after the match was over. But yeah, no, that was set up specifically for Tony Khan because he said the belt's gonna, for the future, be defended using the actual Continental Championship rules. So with that being said, though, that's not to say that I don't think Okada couldn't find a way to cheat. He's a heel. I just don't think it's going to happen.
We'll see. It'll be a good match regardless. Or at least it should be.
I do think it has the potential to be a good match. I would hope Okada would wrestle though. I want, oh man, I just want an old school Okada versus current Takeshita match is what I want. Put some effort into it, damn it.
He does this for some reason. Like, the effort just isn't there sometimes.
Yeah, so that's Dynamite. Like I said, I didn't hate it. There were definitely a couple things that bothered the shit out of me. Anytime haters on my TV. I mean, can't help it though. She's a part of the roster. It is what it is. Tony loves her. Other people love her.
You liked her match from Sunday.
Yeah, because Tekla carried her.
I would disagree with that, but
no, I think they did have a good match. Yeah. I do think quality of opponent's a big reason why, though.
I think, well, look who she was wrestling in the lead up to everything.
I could look up her entire run since she's been injured. Because, like I said, I don't think she's had one good match since she's been back.
Well, she was fighting fucking Julia Hart and Sky Blue, and Sky Blue's not bad, but Julia is somehow regressed since she's come back from injury. And then she's been in multi-people matches and just bullshit.
Let's see. She came back and when she returned and feuded with the Outcasts. That was all crap.
Were the Outcasts were still a thing when she was there?
Yeah.
When she came back from this past injury?
That's what it says. She's wrestled.
Ruby Soho had a whole ass child in that time frame.
She's wrestled Harley Cameron, Saraya, Brooke Havoc, Willow Nightingale, Nyla Rose, and Saraya in a 4-way match where she sucked in that. Willow Nightingale, where Willow tried to carry her for that match. Obviously Julia Hart, Billy Starks, Chris Statlander, Mercedes.
Okay, she at least wrestled Stat.
Mercedes Moné, Timeless Tony Storm, Chris Statlander, and Tekla in the All Out match, and Tekla in her singles match. And I think she has only looked good in one of those matches.
To be fair, I don't remember hardly any of those matches.
There's a reason. There's a reason.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
Now, and here's the thing. I would love for her to eventually change my mind in the way that LA Knight has.
Yeah.
I just don't think she's going to be able to. The stupid kissing her fucking arm thing, the fucking not being able to land your own fucking punches. Like, I don't know, dude.
Yeah, her punches were terrible at the pay-per-view. I get you're trying to protect your opponent, but man, at least make it look like you're trying to punch him a little bit.
That weak-ass clothesline is a finisher.
Well, I mean, the clothesline just depends on the sell job. The sell jobs have not been good.
Look, you talk about how badass and strong you are. Use a power bomb or something.
Yeah.
That clothesline ain't doing shit. I don't know. She also needs more of a personality. Not that most of these women don't.
Yeah, to be fair, when she had personality the first go around, it was because she was with Britt Baker and Rebel, and they kind of carried the personality portion of that.
Yeah. I can't talk much about that because I don't know too much about that. They were I came back right at like I'm pretty sure because she obviously got injured after Saraya came in. And it wasn't too long after.
You know what we should do? Because you started watching AEW when? 2023?
I started watching. When did Saraya first appear in AEW? 2022, September 21st, 2022.
I'm assuming you've seen All Out 2021.
I have
which
not.
I still would say is, okay, we should watch that show. Not on stream or anything, but just watch that show because it's probably the best pay-per-view they've ever done.
My problem if I go in and watch it, though, is I'm not going to know the storylines going into it. I'm not going to have the connection to any of it. I mean, it'll be a good pay-per-view. There's going to be good matches. AEW wrestles well.
I'll fill you in.
I just don't know how it beats.
I
just don't know how it beats All In from this year. Because I still think All In this year is one of the best pay-per-views I've ever seen from any company.
It was fine. It was fine. I didn't hate it. Their pay-per-views are usually good. That's the one thing you can, except for this past one. This past one was low tier.
WrestleDream's usually rough.
I don't disagree with that. WrestleDream is usually a filler show.
It was rough last year too, and then there was also their Forbidden Door is 50-50. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's not. But yeah.
Yeah, so it was Punk's first match in AEW when he fought Darby.
When was this?
2021.
Maybe I started watching AEW before then because I remember watching him come into AEW.
Yep.
I could have
2021
swore
was his
Saraya
first...
showed up before, though.
She's not on this show. But it had like a shitload of debuts.
Yeah, because I remember him showing up because he showed up.
Watch it.
He showed up on a Rampage.
Oh yeah, the very first Rampage was a show essentially to announce his arrival.
Right. That's wild. Hold on.
Yeah, All Out 2021 was dope.
No, they're saying she signed September 2022. Maybe I just watched that Rampage and then didn't watch much until the next year. I don't know.
Yeah, I was so stoked for that Rampage. I was so stoked for him coming back. I damn near cried. I was so jazzed. Didn't think I'd ever get to see it. And then they left so many matches on the table because people just can't be professional.
Right.
But no, we should watch that. It's good.
Who all wrestled?
The matches were...
Who did CM Punk wrestle?
Darby.
Was it Darby?
It was his debut match.
Dude, I'm going to tell you right now. I swear to you, I don't think Punk had a great match in AEW. He always looked absolutely gassed and was fucking shit up all the time. And I know a lot of it was ring rust and getting back into ring shape and shit.
His MJF feud was top notch.
No.
Those
the
feuds were good.
The feuds and stuff are fine, but like him trying, like I remember watching him try to do like the buckshot himself on like 3 or 4 occasions, and each time he would fall.
Oh yeah, he's not the most nimbly bimbly of guys.
And then he just always looked way exhausted in comparison to other people. Like it was.
He hadn't done it for like a decade, bro.
It was a rough one. So there's that.
That match wasn't bad. Kenny versus Christian for the world title. It was not that bad. Punk versus Darby. Jericho versus MJF. This was pre-Jericho being the absolute shits.
Right.
The real match of the night, the Lucha Brothers versus the Young Bucks in a cage match for the tag titles.
Yeah,
that was a banger. Britt Baker versus Stat for the world title.
Oof.
Yeah, I don't remember whether that was any good or not. Miro versus Eddie Kingston for the TNT title.
That'd be interesting, but I'd hope Miro would win that.
You would be correct. And then they had the casino battle royals where a bunch of people debuted and stuff.
Right.
It was a pretty good show.
Is that the show that had? No, because I'm pretty sure that was a Dynamite. I was gonna say, was that the one where Bryan Danielson debuted? But I'm pretty sure that was a Dynamite.
It is indeed the one where Adam Cole and Bryan Danielson both debuted.
Okay, I thought it was a Dynamite for some reason. I didn't realize it was.
Oh no, it was that show, and what a pop! What a pop!
Absolutely, that's a big pickup.
They swerved everybody because at the end you think it's gonna be Bryan, and Adam Cole comes out instead.
Right.
So then you're like, oh, it's Adam Cole. So you're kind of excited, but you're kind of disappointed. And then they're doing stuff in the ring, and then Daniel Bryan's music hits.
Double debut.
Oh, it was great. So loud. The pops were great. It was a really good show.
So the only other thing we haven't talked about, And since we're here for AEW, it's a good time. The Andrade situation. I'm curious on how it's all going to play out. So obviously, Andrade didn't wait for his no compete clause to run out.
Well, yeah, because they're saying that WWE contracts now have a year-long non-compete if you're fired for cause.
Right.
And allegedly he was fired for cause, whatever that means.
It means he did something he fucking shouldn't have.
Allegedly.
Right.
Allegedly.
So I wonder if he's going to get him some lawyers, or if Tony's going to pay for some lawyers to try and get involved, to try and break whatever contract this is. Because here's the thing. Firing with cause or not, if you're stuck under a non-compete, you should be paid for it.
Not if you're fired for cause.
Yeah, see, but I don't agree with that. And I don't think most people would. Like, you either fire somebody, fire somebody.
And you deliberately, you are... Yeah, I don't think anybody should be told they can't work for a year. But if you're fired for cause, you shouldn't be able to just show up on the other person's TV. Otherwise, you're going to have a fucking epidemic of wrestlers who just want to jump ship and getting fired for cause.
Would they? It's WWE.
Yeah.
They don't have too many people that don't want to be there.
You always have people who think the grass will be greener on the other side.
Well, like I said, if they want to pay him, cool, keep him for a year.
Not going to, because he's fired for cause.
But if they're not going to pay him, then they need to like completely cut him and there have no non-compete. I feel like that's how it needs to be set up. My question is...
There's non-competes in regular business. Like, if I go to join another healthcare company, I potentially could have to sign a non-compete to go to, like, a competitor.
Right.
That's, like, standard practice.
Yeah, it shouldn't be. I think non-competes are bullshit. I always have them.
I think they were drafted to be a good thing, but people and corporate greed have made them undesirable.
Right. But no, like I said, I'm curious to see how this is going to play out. I don't know if Andrade's really going to wait the full year.
I hope not, because how the fuck the dude gonna make a living? His job is to wrestle.
Right. And it's not like he has somebody making money that's, married to him anymore.
Yeah, I don't know if his non-compete is just like domestically, and maybe he can work abroad, because I think he is or was going to work a show in either Puerto Rico or Mexico. Even though Puerto Rico is still a United States territory, but
go sign with CMLL for a year contract with CMLL.
I mean, he was probably going to work down there anyways.
And then AEW can come through once or twice, and he can still be on the show.
Yeah, he can only wrestle Forbidden Door matches.
Oh man, that's wild. Anyways. Yeah, I just think it's stupid. I think the whole situation's dumb.
I just hope Andrade is all right and he's not going through a big spiral.
Yeah.
Because he's had some shit happen to him this year that's can take a toll on anybody.
True. But all right, guys, that's going to do it. Join us next time as we talk about SmackDown and Collision. Yay.
Yeah, hopefully one of those shows will at least be good.
Maybe. Anyways, we love y'all. We'll talk to you next time. Deuces!
Later.